All right, going into game 3 right away. KCM not wasting any time at all. We're gonna be watching Hero versus Shinee on Colosseum II. This is, by the way, this is Shinee, not to be confused with Shine, the bag of builds, Shine. This is the Terran Shine, so lots of interesting stuff we can see. So in the top right-hand corner in the red, it is going to be Hero up 1-0 for his race. We'll be able to see if he can continue that sort of domination that he showed in the ZVP in the game before, see if he can carry that over to ZVT, or if maybe his ZVP is just a one-trick. We'll see. And in the bottom right-hand corner in the orange, it's SKT I Love Uv, aka Shinee. So this map is a little bit interesting because I always tout that this is a great map for Zerg because it allows you to take a very easy 3 bases that are clustered together, easy to defend. However, against Terran, you don't usually want those 3 clustered bases, and it can be a little bit difficult to properly get a third base up and running as a Zerg player. We saw Jaedong last week try a little bit of a crazier build, try to go for a very fast third hatch in the third base location instead of in his main, and that was a pretty interesting strategy, but it got completely countered by his opponent, and I honestly don't think it's really all that great of a build. However, there is the possibility that you can go something like a 10 pull, put on a little bit of early pressure and deny scouting while taking the third, but it's something that we really haven't seen a lot from Zerg players. They still prefer to go ahead and take this fast expansion because the economy is just so much more worth it. So it is going to be the 12 hatch coming out from Hero. He's going to be able to get a strong economy going up early on. Shinee is just going to go ahead and scout out on the map. I like that he does a small wall off at his front. Basically allows him to put on free bunker rush pressure if he wants. Also allows him to just wall off in case of an emergency. This is a very nice scout location for Hero. He's going to be able to get free information without actually revealing his overlord. He can just chill on the high ground for a little while, and there's not a lot that Shine can do about that. First Marine coming out now, and the full wall off is there, so basically at this point Shinee is completely safe from any sort of attacks that might be coming his way. He's just going to be going for a very fast expansion off of probably one Marine. Quite honestly, you could have cancelled that Marine and just built it off of 0, but prefers to have a little bit of early pressure, allow him to kill off the sunken. This is actually a very smart play because this map includes that natural sunken. We are going to see the third base, third hatch out of the third base location, and I think it was scouted. So the natural response for Shinee should be to just go ahead, throw down a second barracks, and start going into a very heavy play. But actually, he's going to be going for the fast refinery, and this is a little bit confusing to see. Maybe he didn't actually see that base up there, I'm not entirely sure, but normally when you see that base, you just go for the second racks early on. It allows you to get a lot of Marines and medics up early on. And usually you also get 1 to 2 fire bats with the first push, and you just push right before the Mutalists actually get out. And there's not really a lot that Zerg can do about it. They can't really, because they're so focused on being greedy like this, they can't really make a lot of sunkens at the choke there, at the natural, and they're not really going to be able to make anything on the high ground to defend either. At least not in enough force to actually stop this early game. And even if you do put down a lot of sunkens early on, you're sacrificing a lot of economy for that, and it ends up being very disastrous for the Zerg player overall. But Shinee instead going to be going for a bit of a different play, going for that fast gas, maybe going for a potential +1 5 rack. Not really sure. There's a building down there, but we haven't really been able to see what it is. So once we cut over to his base, we'll be able to find out. It is going to be a fast factory, so a 1 racks factory. This is a very odd play, but Shinee is well known for his a little bit non-standard play. He is a little bit, I wouldn't call it cheesy, but tricky play style. So he's going to be able to go for very fast drops, it looks like it's going to be. probably going to be seeing the vulture drops coming out. And scaling up here again, I think maybe he didn't see it before. He's definitely going to see it now. And we're going to be seeing the Spire come out from Hero. Not surprising at all to see that. And this third base is actually in a lot of trouble once this drop comes down, because a single drop with a tank and 2 vultures could completely annihilate this base. It may just actually just be pure vultures, we'll have to see, but either way, it is going to be really rough trying to actually deal with that. And we see the Armory and the Academy coming down right now, so this basically gives Shinee a lot of options right now. He can either go into mech or he can go into bio, depending on what he wants to do. The Armory is very nice for just going ahead and producing Valkyries after this pressure. It's going to allow him to defend against the Mutalisk just in time. Conversely, if he wants to go into mech, it also allows him to go ahead and start all the mech upgrades as well. But adding on the second barracks now, it looks like he's definitely going to be going into the bio with the Valkyrie support. That's going to be the play for him right now. And meanwhile, Hero just trying to get prepared. He's going to be putting a couple of Sunkens in places that would normally stop direct pushes. However, they're really particularly horrible against this sort of play that's coming out from Shinee. So Shinee's going to be able to get a lot of drop pressure in. He's going to be able to get a lot of damage in with these first couple of vultures. And you have to believe that in this point in time, probably Hero just saw those vultures come out and is panicking, trying to get in position. He's going to be able to block this ramp with the drones for the time being. This is pretty nice. Overall, really nice play. He's going to be able to prevent these vultures from getting up here for right now, and both of those, I believe, are only one hit away from dying. So, really nice play from Hero so far. He's been able to completely save all of his bases, prevent any sort of damage from coming down. And what happened to that drop play? I'm really confused. I expected to see drops, but it's just going to be the fast Valkyrie. Maybe he was a little too worried about the fast Mutalisk pressure. He is going to have a Valkyrie on time to deal with these Mutalisks, but it seems like a little overkill to go for Valkyries and missile turrets at the same time, when you could have either just gone for one or the other. Bit strange in my opinion. In any case, Hero is in a pretty fantastic position. He's going to be taking him straight to the Hive and getting a couple of Scourge to aid his Mutalisk, because he wants to keep these Mutalisks alive. He wants to continue doing the pressure, but obviously against Valkyries, you need a little bit more support. We're probably going to be heading up into a very quick tech into just Marine Medic with tanks and Valkyries for Shinee, and that's going to be a really strong strategy. It's going to allow him to get a lot of control over the middle of the map. I definitely don't want to see Science Vessels early on. Science Vessels are very nice when you're trying to break lurkers, but in this particular case, when you have this mobility of the Valkyries, when you have the ability to go ahead and just start pushing your opponent back, you might as well just go for that. But instead he's making more vultures, and that's a little confusing. He might try to just go for a very fast mech switch off the back of this. In any case, this is a very non-standard play from Shine. We'll have to see what he decides to do. A lot more Sunkens coming down into this natural and on the high ground. Also going ahead and getting the extra lurkers. That's going to allow him to defend, and he needs to be careful with the control on these Mutalisks. Wow, fantastic damage coming down from those Valkyries. Wow, that micro was actually insane. It's insanely hard to micro Valkyries so they do max damage, but it looks like Shinee really has it down. He really knows how to play it correctly. So really cool stuff to see. And stacking the lurkers is Hero. He's going to be able to stack a couple lurkers in his natural, prevent them from getting easily irradiated or focused down. I'm a little surprised we haven't seen any more Valkyries. It's just going to be those two. I typically like seeing more Valkyries going up to maybe even 5 or 6, because it allows you to just have complete air control, and after a certain point you can actually just walk into your opponent's main or natural and just start sniping off tons and tons of overlords, and there's not a lot the Zerg player can actually really do about it, because the Mutalists can't actually do anything about it, and even Scourge melt to that many Valkyries, so that's what I'd like to see. But it looks like he's been focusing a little bit more on just trying to get extra Marines up, trying to get other infrastructure up for this mech switch. So as I suspected, we are going to be going into the very fast mech follow-up. This has been very nice so far, but the micro's not as good for these Valkyries, but actually doing a fantastic job of running them around, glitching out the Scourge, so actually pretty nicely done. And with this one Valkyrie up, that's still enough to deflect the Mutalists for now. And meanwhile, here already up to that high tech, he's going to be getting his Filers up out pretty soon. He's going to be able to go ahead and push his opponent back. And this first Marine Medic push is really not, well, I guess second. The second Marine Medic push is really not going to be able to do a lot. Luckily, Shinee has already started to mine up his opponent's natural, going to allow him to go ahead and take control in the center of the map. And this is how you make that mech switch, is you just make a ton of vultures and put mines in front of your opponent's natural and third, fourth bases, and it just prevents them from ever actually moving out on the map and doing anything. Finally, we see a resurgence in the Valkyrie production, going to be going up to at least 4 or 5 of those, and that's the money amount. That's going to be really nice. Meanwhile, more and more of these mines being laid, and I really want to see a couple of Overlords just come out just to clear these out. One thing that I think Zerg players don't really do enough of is just getting fast Overlord speed and saving a couple of Mutalists from the early game just so they can clear up these mines very easily, because stuff like that sucks. Like when you do that sort of thing where you're running out with a whole bunch of lings, you end up losing all of them to one mine. It's painful. So you might as well just use the Mutalists that you had from the early game. Just go ahead and follow up with that. You'll be in good shape. It'll be great. And here being very, very safe right here. He's waiting until he has a swarm to actually go out here. There's only like 4 Marines here, but he's apparently very worried about the potential of these completely wrecking his units. A little bit strange to see a couple more mines being laid out on this high ground, going to prevent Hero from ever actually getting there. And you know what? The more I see this map, the more I realize how tiny it really is. The rush distance between these bases feels really, really tiny, and the distance between, say for instance, the natural of Hero and the third base of his opponent are basically nothing. A small push up here trying to break through, but the swarm is good. It's going to be able to prevent that, and Hero doing a fantastic job. He's going to be able to scout out this SCV, trying to make it a hidden expo. So that's going to be a really nice job from Hero so far, getting a good idea of where his opponent is. He's got really good information on that side of the map between Lings and Overlords, so he's going to be able to find out what his opponent is doing at any given time. He's going to do a little bit of harassment with these Mutalists, but now they're caught in between the Valkyries, so they're pretty much 100% dead. He's going to have to run those into the base, try to get them away, but they're pretty much dead. Definitely needs to split them if he wants to keep them alive. Otherwise, they are all DED dead. Wow, lots of Scourge. Are they going to be able to take out quite okay, they definitely took out at least 3, almost taking out a 4th one as well, so that was actually a very nice trade overall for Hero, besides losing, of course, the Mutalists. That wasn't ideal. So down to only 1 Valkyrie. This is really, really nice. And now the tanks are in position, but they're separated from the Bioforce. This was a huge mistake by Shinee. He's gonna have his tanks very separated, and these Lings should be able to clean them up eventually. Never mind, apparently he just didn't make a lot of Lings, so the Lings will not clean it up eventually. The tanks will get out safely, thankfully for him. But meanwhile, let's look at the gas count for Hero. That is really the big story of the late game ZVT. So when you look up at this gas count, you think, hey, that's pretty weird. It looks like Hero's not playing very well. It looks like he's floating a whole bunch of money. This is entirely intentional. The late game is all about just saving up a lot of gas, and then it allows you to pivot very easily into either lots of Ultras or lots of Mutalists, depending on the composition of your opponent. Early on, you kind of just want to whittle away your opponent with as much— oh! That was a good mind drag. Did a lot of free damage to all of those tanks, so very nicely done from Hero so far. Those tanks are going to be a lot weaker for future engagements. And behind the Shine is just going full metal, going into the mech. big-time scary armies. But 4 bases up for Hero right now, and he's got the defenses up at his natural and his fourth, so he's going to be able to hold off for quite a bit. And we're going to see some drop play coming in. This is what I'd love to see. Usually, during this time while you're banking a lot of gas and trying to get your 4-base economy up, you're mostly just building a lot of defilers, a lot of lings, and saving up all the rest of your gas. So it makes a lot of sense to go ahead and go for these drop plays, because drops are very mineral cheap. So it allows you to just get a lot of work done. And with this stuff right here, it's going to force Shinee to actually evacuate that third base. Third base is completely forfeit. So very nicely done so far. And these lings are going to be able to clean up quite a bit. He needs to pull them back, though, as fuel for the defiler, because at this point, you don't really need the lings to do any damage. You just need them there for the defiler to basically never be able to be pushed out. Because with 0 science vessels out on the map, that defiler is basically completely 100% immune to any damage that can be thrown out against it. So as long as you just keep all of those Zerglings with it, you can continue to refuel and continue to just throw down Dark Swarms. You hold that third base hostage for basically forever. But more lings coming down right now, and this is the looks like the spider mines were not enough to prevent that, and wow, again here, just finding this base over here, it's absolutely insane. See, this is what I'm talking about, the defiler now going down when he could have easily held that third base hostage for a lot longer, just continuing to throw down swarms on top of those lurkers. A little bit unfortunate for him, but another big drop is going to be coming straight down the side yet again, and he still has his defenses up here in the natural, so he's not going to fall down very early. And this is a little bit worrying that Shinee has completely abandoned his starport production. He's not even getting Valkyries, he's not getting the science vessels, so basically he has no real map pressure on the map. You cannot break Defiler Lurker with just having a lot of mech units. You can't. It won't happen. The Defilers can sit there and just continually consume lings all day long until they have tons of energy and just continue to put swarms on top of those lurkers, and the lurkers can't be hit. So this is not really going to be able to work out for Shinee. He's trying to just go ahead and split the map, but he's still only sitting at 3 bases, so it's not really all that good for him. He needs to be careful with all these overlords, make sure that he doesn't lose them. If there are units lit up in there, that can be pretty devastating, but we are going to see the Mutalisk switch, and that's where a lot of the initial gas went in. Shinee being a little bit prepared with a couple of these Goliaths, but they're going to be cleaned up pretty nicely, and all of this bio has been plagued, so it's not going to be all that difficult to clean up, honestly. It's not as threatening as it normally would be. Plague is so strong, and all of these tanks are going to be going down now as well. Just Shinee just desperately trying to reinforce with these Goliaths, but I don't think he's going to be able to reinforce before all of the tanks go down. And there's the GG. You're just playing absolutely perfectly with those tech switches.